Alright, hello and welcome to the little bonus replays video I'm doing for my Dark Magician deck profile. If you haven't seen that, I'll put a card up to screen on that now. Just making it two separate videos for time reasons, because most people don't want to watch a massively long deck profile and things like that. So I'll have a card up to that on screen right now. But anyway, yes, I'm feeling very good about this new build. I'm thinking it's very strong. It just overall feels really damn good, and I feel extremely confident playing it. And we've got some pretty cool and interesting replays here. So let's just go ahead and roll it now. We're up against still Winwich Invoked up here. I believe it is Winwich Invoked, which, oh yeah, it has Performer Mages too, which I do want to mess around with Damage Juggler. But anyway, I'll stop rambling and get back on topic here. But Winwich Invoked isn't as strong as it used to be. With Master Rule 4, I think it's time to move on to other builds of Invoked if you're still playing it. But anyway, we'll go ahead and start rolling it here. So obviously we open with Secrets and Blue Boy, which is pretty strong. I'll actually go ahead and Ogre the Blue Boy there, so we won't get the draw off of that. But we can still activate Apprentice, then we can still activate Inheritance, we can grab our Circle, we can drop some frames, oh boy. But as you can see, we got into a pretty damn good setup there. We have Navigation, Cyclone, or Double Cyclone, and Torrential. So we have a very, very strong setup. We have, two board wipes, we have a board wipe, a banish, two spell and trap disruption cards. So we're set up pretty damn good. So he's gonna go ahead starting with 5 cards because of the Ogre. He'll grab a Cyclone and just blindly hit Circle, which generally isn't the right play. Kind of the best thing to do is wait till they activate something to special with Circle, and then hit the Circle, because if they activate Soul, you can just, Raigeki their field from there, which is a stronger play than just hitting Circle, so always hold off on that. He'll go for Meltdown, obviously we'll Cyclone that to stop him from there. He'll go ahead and resolve Ice Spell, and this is where Torrential is super strong as plays like this, because he's going to go ahead and to make his play, he has to put monsters on board. So we can just Torrential and, pretty much just kill all his chances right there. And obviously, as you can see, he doesn't have that much in hand. He Ash Blossoms on Navigation, which really hurts, but we're kind of playing at equal states here. I'll grab Circle, I'll reveal a Dark Magician, and actually there's 2 more Torrentials on top of the deck. So we're not doing anything for a while, but neither is he. Obviously, we'll go ahead and stop the Meltdown once more, and he'll set the Invocation as a bluff, and we're just going to be kind of passing and setting for a few turns here. So the Ash really did hurt, but again, we resourced him out, even though he stopped our play. So even though we don't have advantage, we're still, not in a bad spot here. As you can see, we now have Magician of Dark Illusion in hand, so if he summons something, we can go ahead and Torrential and activate that. As you can see, we still don't have a way to summon, but again, this is why I really like Magician of Dark Illusion, because he's going to go ahead and normal summon here. That will let me resolve Torrential, which will let me special Magician of Dark Illusion, which will let me banish a card still and get some presence on board for damage and to draw off of Knowledge. So as you can see, we're finally going to be able to push for a little damage here, although Juggler will negate that. Again, we'll just do round leave for some cards. We'll grab the Allure, so we're just trying to desperately get somewhere. And as you can see, we got Rod. We have 2 Souls and a Navigation, and our setup's complete once again. He's actually going to damage Juggler for Turklon and try to legitimately make a Seraphonite there. But we've been kind of sitting on that Navigation engraved the entire game, and we'll finally go ahead and use that up. Sorry about the pause, just kind of trying to fix the frame rate there. And then end phase, we're just going to put, everything on board, keep searching. Obviously, mask Dark Magical Circle behind Apprentice Illusion Magician just in case of an Ogre. And we just completely had control and game right there. And getting into my favorite of the batch, this is actually a matchup against Altergeists. Now, Altergeists, whenever they first got their new support and everyone was playing it, I'm like, man, I fucking hate this deck, it's so annoying. And if it gets set up, it is annoying and it is pretty good, a good control and stun deck. But Dark Magician is a better control and stun deck. And I will say that right now, well, we don't have the new Altergeist support, but maybe my tune will change once we have the card that really makes him good. But this is going to be kind of a stun control matchup, which is going to have some interesting interactions and interesting plays that I really liked. So we'll go ahead and start rolling this one here. Obviously, we're going first in the first replays I showed. Oh yeah, Royal get Ash Blossom, that hurts. But we'll still go ahead and be able to resolve a Navigation here, and we have Torrential, which is pretty strong against any other deck. So actually, our build is kind of lackluster against Altergeist. I'll go ahead and grab the Search off of Marionette, he'll get Protocol and this and that. Now, end phase, I'll make a mistake. I want to grab Rod back for the advantage, and I was going to actually set up a, Magician's Navigation and Naruto play, so I had double Spell and Trap Negate, because obviously Altergeist are a very Spell and Trap heavy deck, but I attributed off my Dark Magician not thinking, meaning that the Navigation wasn't live for when he, goes to flip stuff and standby phase. So we actually kind of misplayed a little bit there, and as you can see, he's just going to go crazy flipping the trap cards during his standby phase there, and he's set up pretty well. He's got the free search off of spoofing there, which will obviously net him the Conquery. He has the Altergeist Protocol, so we can't use monster effects. He has the anti-spell fragrance, so he's set up pretty well. Now he's going to go ahead and summon the Conquery, and I saw him search that, so I knew it was going to happen, but I really didn't see a point to not swinging. Obviously, might as well get it out of the hand and make him use up his resources, and here I'm just trying to bait out some back row, and this is actually what I kind of wanted to happen. Because he's using up a lot of resources to out cards that we kind of don't really need. Obviously, we're losing resources as well, but we're making him waste his bottomless, and he's going to go ahead and actually negate with Protocol, which is going to make him lose even more resources. And we hold the advantage here, just strictly in terms of cards. And obviously, he'll get something off of personal spoofing there, but he had to give up his Protocol to do it, so he'll have to set a suboptimal card when we Torrential there. Now we drew Cyclone, which is pretty damn good. Rod is going to get Ash Blossomed once again, and this I don't agree with. He just kind of blind activated the Monster Reborn, or call the Haunted Altergeist have there, meaning he gave up more cards than he needed to actually resolve the personal spoofing there. In main phase 2, we'll actually draw into another Cyclone and still have a Torrential on field, so we can go ahead and stop the Melisec play, which obviously would have let him net some more advantage there, and we still have double Cyclone set. So whenever he goes to activate some personal spoofing shenanigans, we can go ahead and just make him go pretty much like -2 there. And we're set up pretty well going into his turn. Now we'll go ahead and specially Dark Magician, just kind of shotgunning it out there so that our Navigation is live in grave in case he activates any more spells and traps. We'll go ahead and cycle in the first one he set because it's generally the more important one, and we're set up pretty damn well here. And top decking Circle for turn, even though anti-spell's up, is just kind of like the icing on the cake. He'll Judgment the Apprentice, which was just the wrong play because then we can just special back Dark Magician and go for game. But again, that was just a very interesting kind of back and forth going on there between two control decks. But this just kind of shows you how Dark Magician works, where it just slowly overcomes you. Especially if you're set up with Soul and back row like that. There are times where it'll just OTK with Navigation if you have like 2 of them, and it's insane and why I love that card. But if you kind of have Soul and Circle, you can kind of use your resources better than your opponent, basically. For our last one here, we're up against Lightsworn Zombies with generic engines. I'm actually working on a kind of like zombie stun build recently, which maybe we'll see that sometime. I still have some kinks to work out there. I also have something to work out in my personal life, but that's a topic for a different channel and different video and different channel all together, maybe someday. But yes, my terrible jokes aside, we're up against Lightsworn Zombies. We're actually going second here, and this is kind of going to be like this isn't going to be a back and forth, this is going to be the Dark Magician waves. They're waves hitting the shore, and we're slowly wearing him down over time and building up bigger and bigger resources. So we'll stop talking and roll it here. He'll hit some suboptimal mills off the charge there, but he'll open the Solitaire play there, which is pretty decent. And he'll go ahead and use both Unizombies effect at once, and go into Needle Fiber, actually special back Zombie Master, and make a decently strong play from there. However, the problem with Needle Fiber, even though it does special Unizombie from deck, is it doesn't allow you to activate his effects. So if you are going to make that play, you have to have a Bazooki in grave, so you can specially Unizombie back, resolve one of its effects, and make an Omega or a Beals or a Void Ogre from there. That's something very important and something I've been putting a lot of testing into recently. So obviously he can use Needle Fiber's effect and do some shenanigans on our turn, but it just doesn't lead to a super strong opening. So we'll go ahead and do that now. He's just going to make an Omega off of the Kriston monster there. We'll have to go ahead and grab Circle to kind of get ourselves started. And he'll blind Omega and hit the Circle, which he had a 1 in 6 chance, and he actually nabbed the right one off of RNG, which kind of pissed me off. But at least we don't have to deal with the Omega anymore, and Clearwing does absolutely nothing in this matchup, so we're not looking terrible. Now, we didn't draw super well. We have Navigation, Cyclone. We can resolve Navigation, which isn't terrible. We can stop the Brilliant Fusion he's going to search, but Again, we don't have a circle set up because he banished it, so we're not in control here. We're just kind of playing catch up right now. But as you can see, we can put some decent presence on board. He'll go to Brilliant Fusion, we'll obviously stop that. And I believe he will, oh yeah, we'll obviously grab Rod back for them. Search is there. He'll Omega, put a Mizuki back, you know the drill. Now we'll set cards here, and I actually shouldn't have activated Magician's Rod effect. I had Soul, I had Circle, I really should have just kind of sat on the one Dark Magician I had in Grave. I did Navigation for Spell and Trap Negates. I should have just sat on that in Soul so we couldn't resolve Omega, so I could just, go ahead, special that, banish the Omega, and we would have been in a much better position from there. But I went ahead and searched the Illusion Magic, tributed that off so we have multiple copies of Dark Magician and get around the Omega, banishing anything important, because it doesn't matter if we have multiple copies of Dark Magician. Circle off Circle, whatever. That'll actually become relevant here in a second. He'll go ahead and do some Jasmine stuff here. He's just going through Lone Fires. I kind of figured he was just trying to bait out the Soul or something. But he'll actually go into Decode Talker and make a strong play there, because Decode Talker really does hurt this deck. He'll train Omega, which just, we had a Magician in Grave anyway, so that was pointless. He could have just put more damage on board. And he'll actually special something back into Decode Zone. Now, because we have 2 circles, we're going to go ahead and bait out one of the Decode Talker negates there. And from that point, we could have gotten over it, but he specials Spore back, puts Decode back up to 2 negates, and we're kind of in a rough spot. Do some kind of spellbook shenanigans there, just gain more advantage, obviously. Set up another circle, set up Soul once again, although this time we won't resolve the effect, and we'll just go ahead and crash with the Clear Wing so that we can kind of make him, waste the Decode Talker effect on his turn. Designated from the Grave, again, he knows what we have in hand. I really don't know why he's doing that. Oh yeah, no, we don't even circle banish, we just torrential, that's right, because we drew into torrential. Oh god, and that's why I love that. Like, as you can see, he didn't have any, destruction prevention, so on his turn we just went ahead, plopped a Magician down, torrential. Yeah, sure, we lost 1 card, but he lost 3. And obviously, it just puts us in a much better position because we have back row recap. Like, just like, look at it, we have, what is it? We have 7 cards to his 0 cards. And we can just go ahead and push for some damage here with Dark Magician. And again, we have Circle Live, I believe we drew into a Solemn Strike, we have a Warning, we have everything we could want. He'll go ahead and summon Spirit Master. Obviously, I'm not going to banish that, I played Zombies. And then on our turn here, we're just going to kind of go for a bit of style. Drop Double Apprentice, put some damage on board there, and just go to resolve Soul from game. Just throwing a little bit of style and salt on the end. But as you can see, that one really does show off how good Torrential is, where, we were in a tough spot, we were playing from behind that whole time, and then we just completely shifted the tide with Torrential. Over time, if I just kept making Dark Magician plays, we would have gone over that board, but Torrential just, it sped up that process so fast, and it's just such a strong card. But anyway, we'll just end it on a picture of the deck here in case you haven't seen the deck profile and don't want to check that out, but you should, so we'll just end it on this screen here in case you want to take a look at the actual build of the deck. But yes, usual plugs at the end of the episode. You're going to be hearing these like 2 times today if you watch both the videos. Sorry about that. But we gotta get them in there. Links to my Discord and Twitter down in the description, automatic tweets, Discord's a place to chill, hang out, talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! And anime, other things like that. And the most important one, link to my Patreon down in the description. Now, obviously, these are some extra videos I made this week because I had extra time. And, having series like the worst deck of all time and live duels, those are very, just time intensive into recording and editing. And stuff that I really do put a lot of effort into to make them look pretty and, make them look good for Yu-Gi-Oh! Content. I do think that it is some of the best produced and best looking Yu-Gi-Oh! Content out there, just editing and production-wise and things like that. So if you do appreciate the time and effort and thought that I put into that, you can support me on Patreon, but again, no pressure to support me on there. You guys are all awesome just for watching, and no content or anything will ever be gated off. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.